Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Teachogen's webinar, Embracing Mixed Abilities Learners Post-Pandemic. This is Isra Osman. I'm the Educational Services Manager at Teachogen. Today, we'll be getting in depth in the topic of inclusion and how we can embrace our mixed abilities learners through technology use, differentiation, behavioral management, and parental involvement. So today's webinar is presented by a group of amazing professionals from around the globe. Today we have Miss Louise Dawson, Mr. Abdullah Al-Matani, Miss Ambreen Malik, Miss Amina Moeen, Mr. Rainer Roberts, Miss Rana Khan, and Miss Nabiha Taher. So we will start our first session today with Miss Louise Dawson. So let me introduce her quickly to you. Miss Louise Dawson is an independent consultant and the co-founder of the International Forums of Inclusion Practitioners. She's been supporting schools with SEND, EAL, GNT, and inclusion across the Middle East. She was previously the BSME network lead for inclusion. She works closely with inclusion experts to bring quality training opportunities to the Middle East. Ms. Louise is going to discuss with us today a variety of softwares. So she will be showing us how we can promote technology in schools, promoting inclusion using technology in schools, using a variety of softwares. So let's welcome Miss Louise Dawson, and let's start. How are you, Miss Louise?
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of your selection of specialists across the region. It is an absolute thrill to be here, and I'm amazed that we've got over 40 people with us already this evening. So thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. It's a pleasure to have you. So the mic is yours. You can start.
I think you might need to make me a co-host in order for me to share, please.
Okay, so you can share your screen now.
I'm there. Brilliant. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Good evening, and again, thank you very much for having me here, and thank you for giving up your valuable time to join us on the topic of inclusion and technology melded together. Okay, so as Isra said, I have experience of special needs and inclusive education across over 20 years. I have 3 children. My first son was born in Hong Kong. He has autism, ADHD, dyslexia, a whole host of special needs. I then went back to the UK, where I changed career after 20 years in business. I changed career and became a teaching assistant and decided that I loved this new challenge of mine. So in the UK, I got qualified, became a teacher, and became a SEND leader. I moved to Dubai in 2012, so I've now been here for 10 years. I now have 3 children in total, and all 3 children are now identified. This year, I went solo and became a consultant, and this enables me to work with organizations like Teachogen to bring quality training and inclusion support to all schools in the Middle East region. And I have completed training in Saudi, in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and Oman, as well as across the UAE, working with different groups. So today I'm going to talk very briefly about how technology supports inclusion. There's 3 pieces of software that I'm going to share with you. One is by Cricksoft, one is by TextHelp, and one is by IDL. But before we get to the software, I want to just give a little bit of a background about how we feel about inclusion. Okay, so when we talk about inclusion, we're not just talking about children with special needs. We are talking about the whole community, making sure that every child, every parent, every teacher belongs to the community of the school. So this includes children with English as an additional language if you're in an English speaking school. If you're in an Arabic speaking school, it might be the other way around. We have those children who are identified with needs such as dyslexia and autism, but we have the children for whom they may be struggling but not formally identified. So these are the children with literacy barrier, social and emotional barrier, but they're not formally identified through the correct documentation. We also support children with medical needs, such as epilepsy, all of those like Down syndrome, all of the genetic conditions. We also support children with social, emotional well-being needs, and we've seen an increase in the number of children requiring that support through lockdown and through coming out of lockdown in terms of behaviour supports, etc. Obviously, we have to look at boys and girls and make sure that they're all making progress. We work with children who might be receiving, or families that might be receiving financial aid from the government due to their circumstances. Refugees, displaced children, children who are looked after by the government, or who are children of martyrs and people who have given their lives for our country. So all of these categories are the children we talk about when we talk about inclusion. And I think the main message is that people need to accept that every single person on the planet is different. We all have strengths, we all have challenges, we can't all be mathematicians, we can't all be full of empathy, and that if we can work with every single child to make the best of what they have and what they're born with, then actually we are sorting the world. We also need to know that we can learn from each other. So I've worked with children who have autism, who are non-verbal, but I've actually learned so much from them. You don't have to have people who are more intelligent than you or more diverse than you. You can learn from people who have more challenge than you. It's about having equal opportunity to participate in the community and then access education at their level. Everyone on the planet needs to learn friendship skills. We need to have peer models, problem solving, self-image, respect for others. And by doing this, what happens is the outcomes of this is that we reduce bullying, we reduce the competition. And I don't mean competition as in football or as in rugby. I mean competition as against, pitting off children against children or adults against adults. This reduces grief and anger and isolation and improves mental health and working relationships when they go on to be adults. We need to change what we offer in order to support the needs of all of our children. And when we provide equipment or tools or strategies or different curriculums, we're not cheating the system. This graphic, which you will have seen probably across social media, shows us the difference between equality and equity. And inclusion, at the present time, we're in that equity model. So with equality, we've got a baseball game going on here. Every person has exactly the same level of support to access the game. So this young person can access it easily. This one can see it, it's struggling a little bit, but they can see it. And this person can't see it at all, completely blinded to the provision. So when we divide up and provide young people with what they need, we're just allowing everybody to access the game at the same level. And that's what technology brings. So technology allows us to say, right, you don't need anything, you need a little bit of help, you need a lot of help, but we're bringing everybody up to the same level to be able to access the game. One day we'll get to liberation, so we don't have the fence and we don't have those barriers, and we do that through different curriculums, different qualifications, etc. And one of the reasons I like working in the Middle East is because we have the IB curriculum, the English curriculum, the Canadian curriculum, Arabic, the Ministry of Education curriculum. We have all the different curriculums so that people have a choice. And that's one of the reasons I like being out here, and that's inclusion. If we get it right for people with difference, then we automatically get it right for everyone. Is inclusion only inside the school? No, it's not. It is about that support we're giving to the community as a wider brief. It's not about giving everyone exactly the same. It's about giving everyone what they need. And the work that we're providing them doesn't look the same. So again, this is where technology comes in. You don't have to have the same worksheet across all your children. Delivery, you may deliver on worksheets, you may deliver on presentations, you may deliver your content with videos. The work looks different, And therefore the outcomes can look different as well. So some children can make a video to show their knowledge. Some children can create a cartoon strip or write a book, or there's so many different ways that the outcomes can look different and are differentiated for different children. We need to be admitting our high needs children, welcoming them into the community. One of the reasons I'm passionate about that is because no one told me I could have a child with additional needs. And so when it was a process of grief and a process of shock and a process that I needed to become familiar with, had I had exposure to children with this level of need, then that gap between understanding and acceptance would have been shortened. So my children would have got a lot more than they did 20 years ago. Provision may look entirely different for every single child. And just because one child is using a laptop to write and another child is writing doesn't make it wrong. We're giving children what they need in order to be successful. So a quick thought here. This young man has a prosthetic leg. Would we take away the leg if we wanted to? If a child needed to use a chair, would we take away the chair if they needed it? If a blind person needed a stick in order to be safe when they're walking around the community, would we take away the stick? And similarly, if we had a deaf person who either had a cochlear implant or needed sign in order to communicate, would we hold down their hands and stop them from signing? No, we wouldn't. So therefore, if we have a child with a literacy barrier, just because we can't see it, something like dyslexia or dysgraphia, if we can't see it, does that mean we should not support it? And the answer is exactly the same. No, we need to support it. So if a child needs a laptop in order to type because they can't write, the laptop is their accessibility program technology. We need to provide it to children so that they are able to access school in exactly the same way as the prosthetic leg, the chair, the stick, or the sign. There's some really, really simple tools that you can use to help your students. So this is a screenshot of a YouTube video, and I want to draw your attention because many people don't know it's there, this little CC button here. So this is a screenshot, so I can't press play, but if you press on the CC, it's closed caption, and what happens with all videos is you get subtitles come up onto the screen. This can aid people with a hearing impairment, the children who are sat at the back who can't quite hear the video. This aids children who struggle to process auditorially. They can watch and they can read. It helps your children with second language because they are hearing and seeing, so they are putting together the text with the sound, the auditory and the text. There are so many reasons why subtitles are incredibly useful to children. So the very, very first thing to learn is how to do closed captions on videos, okay? And again, I could go on for ages about different apps, different pieces of software, different ways that technology could be included in, but we don't have all night. So I just want to go over a few with you. So if a child is struggling with their organization and they're forgetting equipment and they are not remembering their homework, there are many apps or pieces of software we can use in school. Some of you will use Show My Homework, for example. Show My Homework, one word, another app which teachers put in the homework and then the children have that on a diary so they don't have to remember. It's all there for them. You can use your calendars in your phones or on their iPads or on their laptops to help with organization. So if you want a child to tomorrow bring in a picture of their family because you're working on family tree, get them to put it in their diary with a little alert when they get home. Get them to take notes. So if you use an Android or you use Apple and iOS, there are apps in your phones and your iPads that you can push a button and you can talk into it so that you don't have to write notes. You don't have to remember your book. You can make notes from speech to text. You can send yourselves voice notes so that you can take notes without having to write the text down. So there's many, I mean, and there's thousands. There are thousands of apps that can support children with organization, etc. inside school. We've all become very, very good. And I know that in Saudi, you've only just gone back to face-to-face teaching, but we've all been very good at adapting with new technology to support children. When you go back to class, don't stop using them. They've proven to be very useful in uploading work, uploading homework, the diary, the calendar, reminders, Google Classroom for your presentations. You're still making presentations. Keep putting them up there so the children can pre-learn or overlearn when they get home. If they haven't understood, parents can help because you've got the work there. I've seen schools in Dubai return to classroom face-to-face and they've stopped putting the information up. And that's proving to be a barrier as the children are still trying to catch up and get back to where we were, and where parents or tutors are trying to help. Not having that information there all of a sudden is quite limiting. Keep it added, keep going with it. Obviously, you've got your Zoom, your Meets, your Teams. We can record them. So if you're trying to get a child to express knowledge and they are unable to do so with writing it or typing it, have a Zoom with them, record it. You've got evidence of progress, okay? You can call up a Word document and support a child to type. And if you record the Zoom, you've got evidence that the child is learning and making progress. Obviously, we use technology a lot for assessment. So you can assess children for where their ability is, where their attainment is, reading. So the Cat4 is a GL software. I'm not sure if you're using it in other countries. It's a software that gives us ability data. NGRT is a reading comprehension and English assessment. And again, I could list hundreds, but all of these assessments on technology, delivered on technology, make it easier for children. You may not be aware that you can have calculators that talk to you. So when you push in 14, it says 14, so that children who may have a visual impairment can hear what they're putting in, because they might not be able to read the small screen. So they can hear what's going in, so they know when they've made an error. Again, there are so many different pieces of technology that can support children. There are pieces of software which take your speech and put it into text. And that is, if you don't use that on your mobile phones, find it, because it saves me so much time. So if I'm sending a WhatsApp, I can hold the voice record and speak, and it will record and send. Sometimes people can't listen to that because they're in meetings or they're with children or they're teaching. But there is another button at the bottom where you can push it and it will change what you say into text. So it's just as quick as a voice note, but it types it out. And then you've got text to speech. So this is where a computer will read for you what's on the screen. And as an adult, still studying, and will probably always be studying, I find that really useful, because I can, on my phone, I can say, read this document to me, and my phone will tell me what's on the document. And so I can listen to it while I'm cooking dinner or doing some photocopying or driving to work. Text to speak is also very, very useful, and children like it. At the higher end, we have for the children who have physical disability and are physically unable to maybe speak, maybe type, maybe write. We have technology such as the eye gaze technology, which people, if you know Stephen Hawkins, he used some eye gaze technology in order to express what was going on with his phenomenal mind. And then you've got adding images. So just have a look at this piece of text. And this is valuable for second language people, okay? So I'm going to give you 30 seconds, just read that through. And I'm going to ask you, what is the animal? And you probably, unless you speak Afrikaans or you speak Dutch, you probably can't tell me. What is the plant? You can't tell me. What is the animal doing? You can't tell me. And this is quite a challenge for children who are learning in a second language. So I'm going to give you the text now and give you a really big cheat on how technology can help learning. So I've just come out of presentation mode. So we've got the piece of text here. You can now work out what this word says. And it's really easy. So I'm using Google Slides here. I'm going to put in here another image. So you don't know what boom means. So I'm going to go insert image from the web, and I know it's a tree. So I'm going to put in a tree. And it's really simple and really fast to do. And now if I need to change the size of that, bring that down to there. Okay. Now, if I give you the same piece of text, this piece of text, but with a couple of images, I think you could probably now work out what the paragraph says. So he lay on the, because that's English, it's Afrikaans, but it looks pretty English. So he lay op een bed en slaap. So you now know what that is. What is the animal doing? Sleeping. On the combers. What's combers? It's the blanket. He lay under the boom, which is tree. He's under my feet, his feet, to sleep. He lay under my feet to sleep, and he barks. So just by having a paragraph of text, spreading it out, adding 5 images, there is comprehension going on in your lesson, just by adding a few images which do not take any time to do. So I'm going to share with you now my favorite pieces of software that I have used for many years. And this is Clicker 8 and Docs Plus. They are a primary version and a secondary version of pieces of software which help children to type, to spell, to add grammar and punctuation. And Clicker 8 is also available in Arabic. I can't demonstrate Arabic, but I'm going to show it to you in English. The second piece of software is Read and Write. Very similar. They are literacy tools that support reading, comprehension, spelling, additional words, adding images, research. They're very, very comprehensive. And the third piece is IDL, which I will share with you. Oh, I've just done the wrong thing there. Right, let's go back. Just needed to come out of the presentation. So I've got all of these 3 pieces of software are listed on my website. So Clicker 8 and Docs Plus, a phenomenal piece of software. And there is a primary version and a secondary version and an Arabic version, okay? And there are short videos here which you can watch and listen to. What does it do? It has graphics, it has learning grids. So when you use a learning grid and say you're delivering a science module on this case, it's weather, you might have a child that knows rain, but the child might not have enough vocabulary to describe different types of weather. So what this software does is it gives words, it helps you with punctuation, etc. It's really, really phenomenal, but it does it in Arabic, and that's for native Arabic language speakers. It's also for English students who are learning Arabic. So really, really powerful in helping children to structure their writing, but also to implement new words and expand vocabulary. So Docs Plus is secondary, Clicker is primary. The second one I want to show you is Text Help. This is a toolbar that goes at the top of the screen over Word, Google, whatever software you're using. It improves reading and writing. You have school-wide licenses. You can have a free 30-day trial. I can give you a free demonstration, and it's managed by admin, and admin push it out to all of the computers across school. And this has got the phenomenal tool of that teach to speak, text to speech, and speech to text. So children can talk at their computer. You know, the reluctant writers, They can talk at their computer and it will record it to support them. There's vocabulary lists, there's pictures, there's all sorts of different tools within it. IDL is probably the one that is my favorite right now. IDL is a piece of software which is curriculum based. So there are multi-sensory lessons. It monitors progress, it baselines and tracks children. It's literacy and numeracy. And this one, instead of being a tool to extract knowledge, this one is about teaching the knowledge. And there was a whole study done in the UK on the content, and it was something like, yes, here, within 11 months, children had improved their academic level by 11 months after just using this software for 26 hours. And again, there's loads of videos there that you can go and have a look at. 3 really, really good programs, really strong programs that will help plug gaps, fulfill the curriculum. And you may not be English curriculum, but I'm sure that, you know, a full stop is a full stop wherever we are. You've got software there that can support curriculum and knowledge advancement, but also support children to demonstrate their knowledge. Okay, you can find me on social media. LinkedIn is probably the most frequent place that I go to. Twitter, all my hashtags are Louise Inclusion, and at the bottom of the screen is my email and my contact if you want any further information. I think I'm dead on time there, Isra.
Right on time. Perfect timing, Miss Louise. Although we wish we had you longer. It's an amazing, yeah, you've showed us a lot of amazing tools, and I'm sure like I'm speaking like on behalf of everyone when I say like they are really impressive and we really want to know more about. And I don't think this is the end of it. I'm sure we're going to have you again to let us know more about those amazing tools. And thank you very much for your time. It's an
absolute pleasure. So technology is a very small part of what we're doing, and you know, if anybody has any questions, I'm always here. I'm about support. I'm about the children. So don't feel that, you know, don't hold back. If you've got any questions, come and ask. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just checking in the chat pods, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions for Miss Louise, you can post them in the chat pod, and we'll make sure that she receives them, and we'll get back to you with all of your answers. Thank you, Miss Louise. Thank you very much for such an insightful session. And
you're right, Ambreen says that there is no end to technology, and that's absolutely right. Trying to deliver was quite difficult in 25 minutes. So I wanted to give you a flavor of what I do so that you can ask questions, come out to me later. And if there's anything I can do to support, because it's about your children and your context. Each school and each child is going to need something different. And I can't do that in 20 minutes.
Sure, absolutely. We totally understand that.
Amazing.
Today we just had like a quick, you know, like intro. We will consider it as an introduction to an amazing sessions that will come in the future.
Awesome. Take care and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. So now we are having Mr. Abdullah. Mr. Abdullah Al-Mithani will be joining us today and letting us know more about a new or another technology, which is nearpods, and how can nearpods be used for inclusion and having autonomous learners. But first, let me introduce Mr. Abdullah to you. Mr. Abdullah Al-Mithani is an amazing English teacher at Al Hassan Al Basri School and regional supervisor in Sharqiya South Oman. He's a member of the e-learning and iLearn teams and has trained many teachers through an educational portal on many aspects of learning. So let's welcome Mr. Abdullah. Mr. Abdullah, are you with us?
Yes, Miss Malak, thank you very much.
Yes, this is Miss Isra, and I'm so happy to be with you today.
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. It's my pleasure. Thank you for being with us today. Okay. And so you can start your presentation that we are expecting to be amazing.
Okay, good. Let me share with you my
yeah, the
workshop.
screen,
Can you
yeah,
see?
the screen is, yes, we can
Yes.
see.
So the first
Perfect.
screen is there, shifting from whiteboard to nearboard and teaching English for
Yes,
mixed ability students. Okay, good.
yes, we can see
So
it.
first of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for letting me chance to present in your this seminar. And thanks for the presenters and attendees who are there. My workshop is about shifting, or my talk is about shifting from whiteboard to nearboard in teaching English for mixed ability students. So first of all, I will ask you some questions. What is nearboard and how can we use it? Okay. Nearboard is one of the applications that you can use it in your teaching. As we know that after we had a pandemic or coronavirus, the teaching changed from traditional learning. So our passion to technology developed, and everything, alhamdulillah, teachers used some applications, and some teachers are curious to use so different kinds of applications. One of the applications that I used, or most teachers use, is what is called nearpod. I will show you how to use it, and especially for below levels. Show you some functions all to be familiar. Big screen, features, and so on. Okay. What we can include in nearpod, we can include videos, text, graphics, and pictures, also website links and polls, and so on. And also some quizzes and collaborative boards. So sometimes you can share with your students some collaborative boards. What can we do with the nearboard that I told you before? Add assignments and grade assignments. And also you can assess your students using some functions there. And also you can manage students in this application. Nearboard is best for team building. As we know that now 21st century, we have so many skills. One of the skills is what is called collaborative learning. In collaborative learning, so nearboard is one example, is one of the examples that you can use it for collaborative learning. And also increase, it helps the students to increase engagements, especially for low level and high level students. So there will be more collaboration between the students, and also students will use boards and open-ended questions. And also you have limited responses. How to sign up for the nearboard? It is very easy. As any application or any website, you can sign up first. You need only an email address, and then you can add your students either by using the code and so on. So first of all, you sign up and then create your first class, invite students by email, or you can use class code, or also you can use the link of you for your class. Now, what are the advantages of using nearboard? You will have online lessons for the students, and students will use authentic language. As we know that some students, they don't like using, for example, textbooks. So they will see something real in their daily life. And also storing materials for future use. Okay. So suppose that you have some materials and you want to use them for other classes. So you can store your materials. You only have to run it for the next lesson. So it will be good for you as a teacher. You will be well organized teacher, and also you can share it with your colleagues in your school or in your college and so on. In addition to that, students will learn IT skills. I am sure that most of our students now are familiar with the IT skills that we have. They know how to use computers, they know how to use mobile phones, and they know how to use the electronic boards and so on. So after the pandemic, one of the advantages of the pandemic that we had, students now are passionate to use the technology. In the past, it was very difficult to find students who have emails in your class, but now all students, they have emails, they know how to access to the networking and so on. It makes learning more independent of time and place. As we know that some students are very shy, so they don't like to participate in the class. So Nearpod will help them a lot to engage with the contents of the lesson, and they will participate by commenting, by participating, and so on. It is also participant-centered and interesting and motivating. So students will be motivated more with using interactive applications. Now let's talk about easy, and it is very easy to use and accessible from all devices. So you can use it by using your mobile phone or your personal computer. One of the disadvantages of using Nearpod is sometimes you will face some problems with your networking, and also some teachers, they don't have more experience with IT skills, and some students, they need more help with the IT skills. So what we have to do, the supervisors or the trainers and so on, they should train their teachers, and also the teachers will, and also you can ask experienced teachers with the technology to help other teachers. So this is one of the solutions. And also with the mixed ability students, you can ask students to help each other by sharing the knowledge and how to use it. So the students, and even we low-level students, will be jealous to use the technology. So they will feel that they need to learn something. And also classroom management, it's okay with the classroom management, and also a slow internet connection. But as we know that some students, they live near the mountains, and they don't have very strong networking. So Nearpod will be very difficult for them because it needs powered networking, because it is very heavy application. Now I will show you here some examples and how to use Nearpod in your classes, and I will share it with you. Let me check. This one. Yes, can you see the screen of the Nearpod? Okay, good. So, ladies and gentlemen, now I have here some functions that I can use. Suppose that you want to, this is after you register, you will find this one. You have quick, you have also quick launch. So suppose that you want to do open-ended questions. So you start with this part, the right side, collaborative board. Okay. So you have to wait because it is very heavy and it needs more powerful. So you can here enter your topic. Let's say that we have about past simple. Okay. Now here, sorry, simple. I need to check the spelling. Okay. So here you can write the question, write sentences using past simple. So I have to change the spelling. Sorry, because I was okay. So now you can change the background if you want to change the background, or you can change and also here you can change the background from this part. So you will have here a port for your students, and now you can share it with your students. So in sharing the port with your students, you click here. Okay, so here you have the code. So you can ask your students to go to an airport and enter the code. Okay, or ask them to copy link. So I will show you here. And now this message will come to you. Would you like to approve students? So no. Now I will send you in the chat book the port or the link. Okay, so you can go to the link. Now in the chat book, please go to the link. So please write sentences. Now as I can see, we have here 0 students. We have here 0 students. So please now join the class. Can you check the chat box, please? Or you can enter this code. So you have 2 choices. Yes, can you see? Yes, please answer me in the chat box if you have any questions regarding to the class that I created or to the activity that I created. So please join the board and write sentences, few sentences. Yes, she ate. Thank you very much. So I can see here 2 students or three students. No need to, I think no need to sign in. Okay, good. So you see the students will collaborate with each other, and you can do likes. Okay, you can write like for your students. So you see, so it is very easy application. Okay, good. So I can see good participations. Thank you, guys. Okay. Now let's go to another use of this application. So you can close it. You can close the board. Now we will shift to another part. These are very big activities, so you can use it for warming up activities in your classes. We have another one. Okay, quick. For example, here we have open-ended questions. Okay, you can here add record images and so on. And here the tools bars is almost like Word document toolbar, so it is very easy for you. So let's say that what did you do today? What did you do today? Okay, so you can ask, you can add timer here from this part, and I think you are all familiar with the tools bar here. You can add a timer here if you want to give them, for example, time to manage your time well, because you know some students, they don't care about the time. If you give them time, that means that you are very excellent teacher. So let's say that we have 3 minutes. Now add the timer, and also enable audio recordings. You can enable their recordings if they like. It's okay. Now let's start this activity. Please get ready. What did you do today? Now I will share with you the link. So you have many choices how to share the link with the code with your students. Thank you very much. Okay, so here you have copy link. Now I will show you. I will send you now the link to this activity. So now I will start activity. Please go check the chat book and go to this